Hey everybody, I'm Chris. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. If you are, thank you so much for joining me on my corner of the internet. Today we're going to be creating a second look using the Psychedelic Circus palette. If you haven't seen the first look, I'll leave it linked to right up here. Don't forget there is a giveaway in that video. Make sure you enter before it ends. You have until midnight on December 6th. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, today I wanted to create a look that was a little more wearable, something that would be a little less colorful than what I had in the last video. Obviously, you can create a multitude of colorful looks with the Psychedelic Circus palette. I mean, look at it. It's full of color. But can we create something light and wearable? That's what we're gonna find out today. There's a few shades in here that I think can pull it off, but as of yet, I just don't know if it's gonna look nude. So if you'd like to find out with me, stay exactly where you are because we're getting into it right now. Okay, got my eyes primed with my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Fair. And for a more wearable look, there's only a few shades here that I think we're gonna be able to use. We've got sort of this mustardy yellow and it's microdose. We got this sparkly warmer brown, Perception, and this deeper brown, Sacred Knowledge. I would assume we could probably use a shade like Nature Escape with one of these browns and it would sort of dull it down a little bit, make it a little more wearable. Maybe we'll do that, I don't know. But I do know for right now, I'm gonna take the shade Microdose and put that all over the crease. Oh, I love the look of honey mustard on my eyes in the morning. That went on so easy. Let's just hope it blends out and looks soft once it does blend out. Cause it's pretty bold right now. Pretty dark and mustardy. I guess that's more like honey Dijon mustard. She's looking pretty cute already. Actually, I'm not mad at that. Okay, you guys, this is not looking bad at all. Okay, it's not a bad start. A little yellow around the edges for a nude, but it's not a bad start. Looks pretty good. That shade's actually a little bit deeper than I thought it was gonna be, but that is okay. Because now, using a tighter, more compacted brush, I'm gonna take Perception, that's the glittery brown shade, and go ahead and fill that in the crease. By the way, I don't remember if I mentioned it in my initial review video, but this shade is crazy powdery. That's one dip into the pan. Here, let me move to another spot here and show you. I don't know if it's maybe the glitter that's in it that's making it so loose, or if maybe it's not packed quite as hard as it should have been. I don't know, but that's a lot of kickback. Also, since this shade is that powdery, I'm gonna build it up really slow instead of taking a bunch of the pigment onto the brush and building it up. So I'm just gonna start with a tiny little bit and start popping that in the crease and seeing how dark it really makes this. I think that's gonna be perfect. I really do. And just a little tip for you guys, when you're trying to blend and build up shadow that's on top of another shadow, don't be afraid to go back in with some more of that shadow or in with your previous brush you were using to blend. Like right now, I've built up the darker shade just on the crease, and if I continue to use this brush and try to smoke this up higher, it's gonna take the dark color really, really high because this brush is saturated in the dark color. So if I take the lighter color brush again and just diffuse this dark colored edge with the lighter brush, the chances of me pulling that dark shade too high are much, much less than if I were to use the smaller brush with a darker shade on it. Just a little tidbit of some information for you. Hopefully that helps you in your makeup game on the daily, because we're always trying to improve that daily makeup game, you know? Didn't have to sacrifice any loss of pigment, but got a nice, clean, soft, smoky blend from dark to light. Mwah. So I was just getting ready to cut the crease and put on a shimmer, and I was looking at all the shimmers to figure out which nude shimmer I was gonna use, and there isn't one. There isn't a shimmer that even comes close to nude, in my opinion. There are a couple that are more like blush toned, like this Mindbender shade, which I love the shade, by the way, because it's a gorgeous flip. And the flip in it is nude and natural looking, but all the nudes I've used so far have been yellowy orange. So I don't know that the shimmer's gonna tie into everything exactly. And then there's Ringmaster over here. It's a little bit deeper of a rosy kind of shade, but it's very, very vivid. I mean, that is red, you know? And then finally, there's Tears of Joy here, which is a super intense, crazy silver. And that one also is not very nude. I'd say this one is probably the closest to like a supernatural glam, but then this one is probably the closest to a nude until it shifts. So what my plan, I guess, is while using another really fluffy diffused blending brush, I'm gonna take the tiniest bit of Candy Flip. I know I used this one yesterday or the other day, but I'm gonna use it in just such a small amount that hopefully all it's gonna do is add a slight pink tint over everything to tone down this yellow a little bit so that the shade Mindbender will look a little more cohesive. Tapping off all of the extra, I just want what's on those bristles, and I guess let's just, oh, I'm so scared it's just gonna turn everything really pink. Let's start right here and see what happens. Ooh, nothing at all happened. Love that for me. Let's try that again. Okay, a little bit of pink. It's not crazy. It doesn't look crazy yet. Please, makeup gods, don't make this be a fail. Guess I'm just gonna take it all the way around. I mean, we're in it now. We are in the pink. Oh my gosh, it kind of worked. Holy crap, I can't believe that actually did anything. But you see how it just took the intensity of the yellow down just a little bit and helped it get more in that neutral tone? Yes. I feel like I still need to add more. I'm just so afraid I'm gonna overdo it like I always do because I can't do anything in moderation. But see, I'm thinking that if I just keep getting the pink and the dark brown mixed in together, that it'll turn into this nice, soft, smoky neutral tone with a slight flare of pink to it. Like that, like what it's doing right now. I'm just so thankful it's actually sort of doing it. I think this turned out really well for a base. The pink negating that yellow was literal perfection. I mean, it looks neutral now. So let's go in with some Mindbender, but I'm gonna cut the crease first. So give me just a second, I'll be right back. So I did a little half cut crease moment, as you can see. Now I'm gonna take some more Perception shade and just go from the outer portion of the crease and blend that onto the tacky base on the outer V. Then the tiniest bit more of the shade Candy Flip, just right over that shade on the edge. Again, this is just me trying to take a little bit of that yellow undertone out of the brown and turn it more into a neutral, and it looks like it worked. Again, thank goodness. I think it's finally time for the shade Mindbender. I don't know if this is one of those fluffy flat brush kind of shades or if a flat brush is actually gonna work in it or if it's just gonna slide over the top. It picked up something, but I think it's only picking up the top layer. I don't think it's actually getting any of the real chunks of shimmer. So we might have to use a fluffy brush with this. I'm gonna try it with the flat brush just to see. I'm breaking up the shadow a little bit in the pan like this. I've noticed with a lot of metallic formulas, I have to do this if I'm choosing to use a flat brush. And I like using a flat brush on a cut crease so I can get those nice clean edges. So just do that, push some of the powder out of the pan press, then scoop it up. And at this point, I should be able to take this brush. I like to start on the side I didn't use because there's a nice clean line of built up pigment right there. And I try to stamp that right along the arc that it follows. So right there, which it did actually. It's not super opaque, but you can see that it followed the little line. Now flip the brush over. Let's try to pack some more on. And this is exactly why I like using a flat brush for this. Can you tell that there's a bunch of little chunks of that shimmer on my eye? Ooh, it's in my waterline, it burns. Well, you can take that now and just pull it along the rest of your eye, and it's supposed to smooth out, but this one is not. It's staying chunky. Huh. Wonder if I can smooth it out with my finger. Huh, I wonder why those chunks aren't dissolving or smoothing. I guess they kind of are the more I press over them. Well, it's just kind of weird. Ooh, but it's really pretty. Mindbender is literally what the name says because my mind is bending, trying to understand what is happening on my eye. Obviously, it's this pink blushy rose kind of color, but the reflect makes it look like it's just a neutral shimmer shade on my lid, and that's exactly what I needed. Since we know what Mindbender looks like using a flat brush built up that way and then spread out with the finger, and since I've destroyed the pan, I'm gonna now try to use a sponge tip applicator to apply it and see if I can get a different result. I bet you it'll probably make it a lot smoother. I just really don't enjoy using my fingers whenever I'm doing a cut crease because my pinky is a lot bigger than that tiny little section of my eye. Okay, foam tip applicator is the way to go. Granted, they do look pretty close to the same. I mean, you wouldn't really be able to clock me and pinpoint which side was the foam tip applicator and which side was the brush. The left side with the foam tip applicator does have a stronger reflect, and I notice more little green particles from the foam tip side than I do the right side. And typically foam tip application gives you pretty much the same results as if you would use your finger. Sometimes the finger does make things a little more shiny because your finger has oil on it. The foam tip applicator does not. And once you mix oil with a shadow, it makes it a little more potent. It also can reduce its wear time and cause premature creasing. So if you notice your metallic shadows crease really quick, maybe try not using your fingers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do it all the time, literally almost every day. But just know it can be a source of problematic issues. Ugh, look at the way the shimmer melted in to the dark brown underneath, no problem. I'm so glad I pulled the pink into the outer edges. Should I add more? Should I add more pink? Or is this sufficient? Do you think the lid ties in with the outer edge of the crease since I added the pink? Or do you think it just looks redonkulous? Let me know, because I don't know yet. I think this is majority of the look. Didn't I tell you it was gonna be super simple? I think it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my face makeup, and I'll come back to finish the lower lash line since usually I don't finish the lower lash line on camera. But since this is such a short video, let's go ahead and add in the lower lash line. So give me just a second, we'll finish off the look. You guys, I suck so bad. I'm sorry. I'm so used to doing the lower lash line off camera, I completely forgot to film it. But here's the end result with the lower lash line finished. And literally all I used on the lower lash line was Sacred Knowledge, blended out with Microdose and Candy Flip. Pretty much just like I did on the crease on the top, I just carried it over to the bottom lash so that it was sort of cohesive. And I think in the end, we got a really nice, wearable, everyday kind of look. Nothing too dramatic about it. It's toned down a little bit. Maybe there's a little more pink than I would personally like for a more wearable everyday look, but it is still one. This is something I would feel comfortable wearing to anything. To work, to class, a day on the town, it doesn't matter. Now that being said, this is probably one of the only more natural wearable looks that you're gonna be able to get out of this palette because I think I used everything that was more wearable. But the point is, we got one! So my goal for today's video was a success. What do you guys think of the neutral look created using the Gerard Cosmetics Psychedelic Circus eyeshadow palette? Let me know in the comments. You guys know I'm always hanging out down there with you, just chilling, just talking, so let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video, it'd be really cool if you wanted to give me a thumbs up, just to let me know that you did. And if you enjoy videos like this, like reviews, first impressions, challenges, collaborations, don't forget the subscribe button right down there and the notification bell right beside subscribe so that you'll be alerted for each time I upload a new video. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. I'd like to thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!